there, I believe we're back. This is Speed at the bottom of the helix. Our next presenter is from Jackson, Mississippi. He is going to show us new advances with interiors and lighting. He is the division superintendent for the Magnolia Division in the Southeast region. We welcome Pat McCarthy.
Thanks, Speed. Welcome, everyone, to Mississippi. We all have structures on our layouts that we wish were more interesting. Tonight, we're all about how to take even a small structure and make it a focal point of a larger scene, or maybe even a focal point of your layout. Since the evolution of the LED, tremendous advances have been made in the past, even in the past few years, in lighting for layouts, as well as designing and making interiors. Some of these innovations are in technology, while others seek to provide a simple system for making the installation of an interior a lot more easy to accomplish. Combining lighting and interior advances is what I'm going to be showing you tonight. So let's take the structure. Get you on my desktop. Let's take the structure. Right now we've got the simple DPM structure. This is actually Skip's Chicken and Ribs. This building's been out forever. DPM put this together in the late 80s or 90s, and they've literally made hundreds of simple, easy to build, easy to decorate structures that are probably on every layout that's in the world. This is Skip's. This is Skip's, and it paints up quickly, easily. It comes together easily. Yes, I can. I can hear you. And it comes together easily, and it comes together easily and puts the structure straight up. What we want to do now is to put an interior, and
I just want to make sure that the audio feed is
we're looking at.
Okay, say the next paragraph so we can just make sure it flows.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the products coming out of the Roomettes folks. Barry Silverthorne, the Roomettes, has come up within the last few years, last couple of years, producing literally hundreds of interior kits for presently available commercial structures. And as a result, there's all sorts of things available. This one here is for Mangello Jewelers for the DPM kit 10100 Kelly Saloon. This one is a big kit for the Arlington Hotel. This fits the DPM MP Arms Hotel. The what we're going to do today is made for this particular structure. This is called Stewart's Hobby Shop, and it goes in Skip's Chicken and Ribs. It also goes in Margaret's Market and General Store. So I've already, in the interest of time, I've already assembled a couple of the rooms. There are 3 in this particular kit. I've assembled a couple of those already, but I've just made a copy of this to show what was in the kit originally. There's a living room and a bathroom, and then the storefront itself. And Barry, I'm throwing those in the trash as soon as I'm done here. So this is how the kit comes together. It's a simple laser cut structure, sort of like a laser cut structure kit, but it's on paper. It's pretty dense cardstock. It's got a glossy finish on it. And the best way to do this is just go ahead and build it. And you just come in here and cut the gates.
Pat, can you just hold for a sec? We're just having a few sound issues from your end here at the moment. So can you just say a couple of words? We'll just see if it catches up.
I'm saying a couple words and trying to catch up.
Okay, that comes through fine. So we'll try to
Speed,
continue.
All right. So we'll just cut the gates. To release trying not to cut my fingers off. Release the part from the card. And it does comes apart pretty easily. And I always recommend, and Hermes recommends, using a straight edge to make your folds. Of course, these folds are perforated, so you don't want to overdo it. But they fold out pretty simply. And create a three-sided room. Now you'll note that there are tabs on here that say glue, and that's where you're going to put the glue on these. There are also some tabs on this that say bend upward, glue to wall, and in most cases you're going to follow that direction. You're going to bend that tab upward so you can glue it to the wall. In this particular instance, I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to remove those tabs. I'm just bending back and forth and then pulling them off. I'm making the front of this building removable using magnets to hold the front on. Now, that recommends gym tack glue, and after building a number of these kits, I find that they're correct. I tried to go the other way with a different material, different adhesive, and it just doesn't work as good as the gym tack does. It's quick. It's easy to apply. It's quick. It's easy to apply, and doesn't get out of hand, and it dries clear also. So just hang on. And these just come together. You fold them over and make your joints. And I'll use a clip to hold those on. But you can even use large paper clips to do a good job with this, as you can see. And that's basically the building. That's basically the room. This is the living room that goes on upstairs. While that's going up, we'll go ahead and install the other two rooms in here. First, I'm going to install the bathroom. Now you'll notice I've got some fiber coming out of the back of this building. I installed a gooseneck lamp that is fiber optic on there, so you'll get a feel for that in a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and glue up the glue surfaces for the bathroom. One thing to note that on these other rooms, here is the storefront, and you'll notice in the storefront there are a couple of supplied details. There's a shelf over on the right, and then there is a layout a 4x8 layout board that's on the left. In the kit, there's also a glass front, looks like a glass front case that probably has brass engines in it. Reminds me of Hall's. I didn't use that in here because there just really isn't a lot of room. In the bathroom, though, we use some details that were separately sourced. And here you'll note that there is a 3D printed bath or 3D printed toilet and washstand, and the tub model and stool with a robe on are pricer figures or pricer from the kit. Now I've applied the glue, and it's going to go in these back two windows in the structure. And there you go. You can get a feel for where those are. I'm just going to carefully lay this in so that it's not going to compromise the window. And so that when it's lit, you'll be able to see inside the room. Okay, we've done that. I'll count for our cabling here, because you'll notice that each one of these rooms also has the Just Plug lighting system from Woodland Scenics that's provided in the roomette's kit. So you'll see that the lights are attached per the instructions. We'll show those all illuminated later. Put a weight on this fiber, get it out of my way. The storefront attaches in the structure behind the storefront windows here, and we've already test fitted that and know that it goes against the far right wall. So we're going to use some more gem tack. We're going to need some more, as a matter of fact. That should do it. Get some more gem tack, and we're going to mount this on the paper side, just enough to, sorry, I'm not showing it to you where it is, just enough to get that set in there. And we're going to mount it flush with the floor and flush with the front of the building. And press it down and use a couple more clips. Now that should work. Now, for the time, we should have enough tackiness on the living room to be able to mount the Just Plug lamp. And I committed one of the sins of not removing the gate for the lamp. Now here's the Just Plug lamp that comes with the kit, and we'll just put a little glue on the edge. It doesn't take much. You can also use tape to do this, but I find glue works just as well as anything. Mount the lamp in the location. Hold it for a minute and you'll be all right. Now, mounting this and shows how well that works. We'll try that again. We'll try that again. Now, this particular room has a window in the far side that you have to match with a window in the structure. And that's pretty simply done just by finding where it goes. And you see that it matches the window so that when you look from the outside in, you'll be able to see the interior. So we know that fits. We see how it goes. We'll come back out with it. We'll apply more glue, apply more adhesive. We're going to do it on both sides this time. And we're just going to slide it in there, avoiding compromising that window. And then press fitting it against the sides. Again, using some of our really handy clip. So, in a minute, we'll be set to talk about lighting. Now, once all this glue sets, we'll be able to you'll be able to finish the building by putting the roof in it and mounting the fascia on it. The best part of that is you've got a completed building with 3 different interior rooms. But how do you light it? And the best way to start talking about lighting, I believe, really goes to the people who innovated this process, and that's what Infinix with their just plug lighting system. This is a modular system that has the ability to light your entire layout, and by using this, you can daisy chain your lamps. I've installed 3 here plus a fiber optic lamp, which I'm going to show you how that works again too. But the nice part about this is this is all modular. It works really well, and it's relatively inexpensive. I believe we're going to be okay with this. And we'll just show the structure without on the roof. We'll show the structure with a completed kit. Now, let's look at the lighting. Using the Just Plug system requires the use of a transformer that's supplied by Woodland Singles. And it just plugs in. Just plugs into the lighting board in its special place. And then all you have to do is move this fiber real quickly. All you have to do is plug in your Just Plug lamps. Into the locations. And you now have lighting. And now you can see that both of the rooms on this are lit and illuminated. And now you have a structure that is now more interesting as you seek to go. That always happens. You try and keep the glue off and it never does. Fortunately, this is easy to deal with. Okay. But you can see that it's illuminated. I'll remove the front and you can see how that works even better. And you can adjust the lighting with the Just Plug system. to change your illumination level so that your illumination really works for what you're doing. And now you get a better idea of how the building is lit. And even on the third room, you can now see how the bathroom is illuminated with the details that are in there. Now, Woodland Scenics came up with the initial system that made this really easy to establish an illuminated building. But there are a couple of other things that have come up pretty much recently. Earlier today, if you were watching, you got to see a program by Jim Lewis with Model Train Technology. And Jim has several different lighting boards available, but here's one that actually uses the Just Plug lighting system itself. This is a DCC capable board. It actually has a DCC decoder on it, and you can control the different illumination levels, animation, and other different other things for this, including timing, through your DCC controller. And Jim also has a control box that you can control from. And I'll show you something similar in just a minute. This plugs up to a power supply, or you can use DCC track power. Either way, to power your lamps on here. And I've seen an application where Jim had more than 60 lamps hooked up to one of these boards himself. Pay attention to Model Train Technology. Jim Lewis is doing some really nice things over there. And in terms of fiber, this is another feature of another gentleman that you're going to see right after I'm finished. A gentleman named Michael Groves. Now, Michael has a company called Dwarven, and he's established a system that allows him, or allows a modeler, to use fiber optics to illuminate their layout. And it's pretty simple. He uses a light source, which is what he calls a lamp lighter, and we take the fiber and just slide it into the lighting feature. Slide it in, and you can lock it into the side, and then your light on the back of the building is lit. And you can adjust the illumination on that with you can adjust the illumination on that with you can adjust the illumination with how deep you want insert the fiber in the light source, or you can pull back on the fiber in the fixture itself. Really neat features. You're going to hear Jim talk about. You're going to hear Michael talk about that in length right after I'm done. But there is another item that's out that Jim Lewis and Michael Groves are combining together to establish or set up a fiber optic capable animation system where you can establish triggers for different things, such as train such as train monitoring and things like that, for crossing signals and things that will go along with fiber optics to be driving those. This is a new way to go in the hobby, because fiber's been around, but you hadn't seen a whole lot of it. Michael is making great inroads on how to illuminate your entire layout with fiber optics. There are other sources. I mean, when I started um, in the hobby, it was when I started in the hobby, it was unusual to see lighting in structures, and then slowly the grain of wheat bulbs began to appear, and you'd see lights on a layout, and it was always a great feature to see. And I remember back in the mid '80s, I went to a train show in Mesquite, Texas. One of the layout tours had a beautiful layout. Had a hotel that had several rooms that were in the hotel that had been illuminated and had interiors in them. And the modeler had gone to a great level of effort to make that model stand out, and that left a great impression on me. And I've always wanted to try and develop a structure uh, program on my layout so that every structure could be lit and every structure could have an interior. So to summarize, we've got we've got a lot of options when it comes to doing lighting. LEDs, you still have incandescents that are available. You can you can you can you can mix them, as I've done on this particular structure, with both LEDs and fiber. Fiber's a neat new product, and it's a neat product that's not new, but it's becoming more prevalent. I intend to start using some of that myself. The people that work hard on this, Jim Lewis, Michael Groves, Barry Silverthorne, they're making interiors possible for a reasonable investment and for a not overwhelming amount of effort. You saw how long it took me to put this together, and you can set up an interior with lighting. You can set up an interior with lighting in a building in a small amount of time and have this installed in your layout, and it becomes a focal point for your scene, or maybe even in a larger structure, a focal point for your layout. It's about all I have. Speed, if you've got some questions, I'm happy to attend.
There are some questions.
Speed.
Can you hear me?
All right. I can hear you, yes.
Do you prefer fiber optics or small LEDs, and why?
I like them both. It's not, I, I, you can, with some of the products that Michael has come up with, you could do just about any kind of lamp, interior, exterior lamp you can do with fiber. That you could do with LEDs or even the old incandescent grain of wheats. Fiber has its place, and the only issue that I've really had with fiber is is modulating intensity. With the just plug lighting system that's available, you have infinite capability of adjusting intensity, and I think that's one reason I really like the LEDs. Um, for exterior lighting, I think I think I think fiber is a good way to go. I think they're both really worthwhile to pursue, and I think fiber has its place.
Wouldn't you want to paint the back side of the bathroom and storefront black to cut down the visibility through the rear windows?
Um, I I did not. This building, of course, is not finished at this point. I'm probably going to use a. I'm probably going to black out the windows in the back of the building, which would effectively decrease illumination. Um, not lamp, Rumettes recommends that you do a couple of things to try and reduce the illumination leak, the light leak by sealing the perforated seams that you fold over. Um, the Rumette's instructions suggest you use glue. I thought about using tape, and then I think you may have a good idea of just painting the back of it black. I don't. I've in other structures that I've done the roomettes in, I haven't had any real problem with light leak through closed out windows. It's not a bad idea.
So, how do you adjust the the brightness of those LEDs? I don't mean what buttons do you press. Is to what level do you set them? Because you're on a workbench, and it might be installed in a layout in a few weeks or months.
Good question. The the Just Plug lighting system um, is designed to be mounted either on the fascia of your layout or underneath it. Um, and when you do it that way, it's usually at a point where you can adjust the illumination for a building uh, that's actually installed. So conceivably have you could conceivably have a structure or multiple structures that you might want to adjust the intensity of for daytime running, and then for nighttime running, you may want to adjust them again. Now, keep in mind that the Just Plug system not only has LED lamps for interiors, they have exterior lighting that's available. You have different types of exterior lamps that are available from Woodland Scenics. They even have a line of automobiles with LED headlights and taillights. All of those can be adjusted. All of those, the intensity can be adjusted with this particular control panel, and it's called a dimmer control. So you have the infinite ability to do that if you have this mounted where you can reach it. Some layouts you may not be able to mount that on a fascia or close by, and you have to mount it up underneath. And if that's the case, then you're going to have to reach up underneath to get to the controls. Now, that's where Jim Lewis's modules, I think, are going to shine. I've got one structure that I've almost got complete that has one of his boards in it that is controllable from my DCC handset. Now I use NCE, but it's easy enough to be able to select whichever port you're looking for or you're trying to control, and then adjust the intensity of a lamp from your hand controller on your DCC system. This is very innovative, and I think Jim's got a great idea with this product. And on this particular one, you can set up 16 different Just Plugs. And he has other types of boards. I know one I've already installed is smaller. It's probably 2/3 the size of this particular panel, and it's got 16 ports on it, and it's got solder pads that I've gone ahead and soldered the light leads to. In that case, the footprint of the board is so much smaller that it fits up underneath the floor of the structure that I've built. The nice thing about that is I'll eventually be able to adjust the intensity of each light that's on that structure. And I think right now I've got 4, 8, 10, 11, 12. I've got 13 lights on this particular structure alone. And I'll be able to adjust the intensity of each one of those through the DCC controller. So that's another way that you have the ability to adjust. You have the ability to adjust lighting and intensity.
So, can you going to use that controller for a building sitting next to it as well, or how many controllers or how many buildings you're going to have with lighting?
Well, you could. There's no. I don't think there's any limit to the number of buildings that you could, or number of structures that you could control on this particular panel that I was showing you, or even the Just Plug system. You can control more than one building or one structure with each one of these control panels. The idea is that you can multiply the lights that are on any one individual lead. So if you have a large building that has an interior, a manufacturing type building that has an interior with say 12 interior lamps 12 interior ceiling lamps, you could have those all set up on one single control plug or button, and then you can adjust the intensity either with the just plug or with your DCC controller. So I think there's an infinite number of ways that you control more than one structure. Um, I've I have I have an innovator that is we tried to get a another device in before this presentation that is based on that's based on the oh, I'm forgetting the terms now. Speed, help me out with this. That's based on a
Schedule.
Well, it's what's the board called?
The one that's stuck in the mail.
The one that's stuck in the mail. Yes, sir.
Porches and bathrooms.
Yes. Well, it's based on what's the technology it's based on? I'm forgetting that now.
It's the same Arduino.
Ah, there you go. This is controlled by an Arduino using using the programming that is set up in it, and it's designed. Of course, Speed could probably tell you more about this than I can, but it's designed so that it can animate um, different lamps in a particular structure based upon schedules, based upon intensity, and based upon recurring events. Um, I'm looking forward to getting that. I'm looking forward to getting that particular device in, being able to test it out. I think that's going to be a neat way to control things too. And in terms of expense, that's probably the most affordable of all of these different types.
So how big is your layout?
I have a 2 by 8 foot switching layout that is under construction.
And how many of
And
these
it will.
structures will go on there?
How many of what?
How many structures are you planning on putting on it?
I'll probably have as many as 10 or 12 structures on the layout. A couple of them are going to be background flats, but they will be lit and they will have interiors. I'll have an engine house, have a 2-stall engine house that I'm scratch building. I've got a freight house that I've already finished. I've got a lumber company that's waiting to be started, plus a couple storefronts. This building very well may make it onto the this small DPM building may very well make it onto the layout.
Don't you have a large, what do you call the house, the building next to the tracks, the one with the lights that shine up on the loading dock?
Oh yeah, I've got a freight house.
Or where's your little church?
The little church is up on the top shelf. Every structure I've tried to build, I've tried to include lighting in and interiors. They just provide so much more interest on a layout. I know the club layout that I'm a member of in Meridian, Mississippi, has got there a couple of the structures that I'm building right now are going to wind up on that particular layout with interiors, within lighting. And although there's a considerable amount of lighting on this layout as it is, we're gonna be doing we're gonna be doing a good bit of interior work on some of these structures.
So you're planning some streetlights
Yes, planning streetlights,
and
planning streetlights and overhead wires and everything else like that.
blinking left turn LEDs.
We've got a couple of locations on the club layout where we can use street lamps, and a couple of places where we could use directional lighting for for traffic, that sort of thing. Yes, I don't see that. I don't see that not being used. Trying to make as much animation available to increase the interest on any layout. if you want to find a layout that's got that had incredible lighting features and animation, was the old the Magnolia route, the Mississippi, Alabama, and Gulf that Cliff Powers had built and has now since torn down. Well, didn't tear it down. He's removed it from his facility and has sold it. And he's in the process of building another layout, which I don't doubt will have an incredible lighting and animation system on it.
We would love to see that on a clinic.
I'm working on Mr. Powers. He has a YouTube channel, so if anybody's interested, you can always go to Cliff Powers Model Railroading on YouTube, and you can see some of the wonderful things that he's doing. He's a very accomplished model railroader.
I've seen enough of it to encourage everybody to go look that up. Just amazing.
It is. It's just amazing, and it's one of the layout that he dismantled and sold was incredible. The Mississippi, Alabama, and Gulf was just an incredible layout, and had features on it that were they were amazing. And I don't doubt that his new layout will be even more impressive. He's quite a modeler and good guy too.
Question from the feed: how long can you make those fibers, or how long do they provide them in?
Most of these fibers, I think I've got some. Now I've got I'll show you. I've got a package of 1 millimeter fiber that's in a 30-foot line. And I think these come in 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeters, and 0.75 millimeters in fiber. And this is pretty heavy fiber, but it just depends on the application that you're going to be using it for. The fiber on the gooseneck lamp on this building was 0.75, and it's plugged in. It's plugged in right here. And this lamp lighter will take, I think this will take up to 20 or maybe even more, 20 different strands of fiber to illuminate. Now this is what Michael Groves provides, and he sells this fiber in packaging like this. And this was, like I said, this is 30 feet. Of course, you'll trim it to your needs.
So how long is the fiber that you have installed there right now?
The fiber I have here is probably 18 inches.
And you
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You cut that yourself?
Yes, I did. Cut it with a pair of scissors. The shorter the fiber, the greater the intensity of the lamp. The longer the fiber, the intensity is going to be less because the light has further to travel. This is and Michael can talk about some of the. I'm sorry. Michael can talk about some of the details in the technology of the lamplighter system. I'm sure he'll be happy to go into, and I'm sure he will go into more detail in that in his presentation. These systems are pretty user friendly, but the lighting intensity, like I said, is the only concern or only problem. But I've had any concern with is trying to get the right intensity on the lamps, because in most cases with the same length fiber, the intensity of the lamp is going to be the same.
Well, Pat, thank you very much for showing us two of the products that one already saw and another one that we saw a few weeks ago, I guess, and might see again in a few minutes. So thank you for your time,
Yes,
and thank you for an excellent clinic.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. This is a great program, and y'all have been doing a lot of hard work on it. I'm glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.